2.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
I guess it's doing alright. It has a good dark background, so it can, once you get it close, it can separate out. But yeah, it looks nice. Okay.
To show. Okay, so this is my existing palette.
And we can say someone's going to be out of the game. And someone new is coming in. Someone's not going to make the cut. All right. You all right? You got something to drink?
Yeah. That was producer Mike doing producey things. You know, like setting up the camera, the lights, and motivating the talent with a, "You can do it." Actually, I'm not sure that's what producers do. All I know is I'm out of chocolate and there's insufficient ice in my drink. How am I supposed to work under these conditions? What does one do after getting a new tube of watercolor? Why, create a mixing chart, of course. And that's what I did with Daniel Smith's Mummy Bauxite. I had to know how it would play with the rest of my palette, so here we are. After dealing with a cap full of paint, overfilling the pan, and soiling a half-dozen tissues with dark stickiness, my hands looked like I'd gone a couple of rounds in the ring. The paint being the boxer, me being the boxee. The arena of conflict, where thuggery like this is allowed to happen, shall henceforth be called the Bauxite. Yeah, I was surprised to find that's how it's pronounced. I guess I expected it to sound less violent and more French, like Bauxite. Normally, I double down on something like that, but when Google, Dictionary.com, and Emma saying tell you you're wrong, you do start to wonder, maybe I'm wrong. There are a couple of videos on Otto Kano's channel that analyze this Mummy Bauxite, so check those out, because she is actually informative, whereas I'm going to ooh and ah over the pretty colors. The yellows, Hansa Yellow Light, Azo Yellow, and Hansa Yellow Deep, are similar to begin with, so no surprise that those mixes look very much alike. Aside from the much brighter New Gamboge, that is. The browner colors, quinacridone burnt orange, burnt sienna, and burnt umber, all look kinda meh to me. I was too heavy-handed with pyrrole scarlet and pyrrole red before balancing the mixes for the rest of the reds: permanent alizarin crimson, crimson lake, rose madder, and quinacridone rose. Maybe I didn't use enough of the mineral violet there because the result is so far from what I got with carbazole violet, which turned out to be a very nice shade. Same with the ultramarine and cobalt blues. Those make some of the prettiest mixes, I think. In comparison, cerulean blue, Prussian blue, and compose blue were disappointing, especially Prussian. It went down nicely saturated, but then drying shift happened. Maybe I'm being unfair. They aren't horrible. I mean, the biggest crime on this chart was me placing the phthalo blue green shade mix where Viridian Hues was supposed to go. Permanent green numbers 2 and 1 are okay, but the sap and undersea greens are bordering on awful. And that's coming from someone who adores earth tones. The final two, sepia and Payne's gray, yeah. So there are some standouts for me. The yellows gained nice gold tones. Carbazole violet got a tad moodier. And I really like the muted results from ultramarine blue and cobalt blue hue. And I love what happened with phthalo blue-green shade. Remember, that's the one that got misplaced at the bottom left. The rest range from okay to downright boring. But that's just my opinion. After all that, I wanted to see how Mummy Bauxite did with the Boku-Undo Shadow Black set. I suspect the Shadow Blacks aren't intended for mixing, but I've gotten some nice results in the past, so I gave them a go here. And no, there was almost no difference. Bummer. Now, I love these Shadow Blacks, but this trial reminded me of the Twilight Zone episode where a woman has a procedure to fix her ugliness. Removal of the bandages reveal the lovely Donna Douglas, only to have the doctors announce, "No change. No change at all." Yeah, that sort of childhood trauma sticks. So, all in all, there were few instances of significant changes. Is that the plight of browns in general, or the weak mixing ability of Mummy Bauxite in particular? Until I figure that out, the question now is, shall I add Mummy Bauxite to my palette? And which color do I remove to make space for it? Burnt Sienna? Burnt Umber? Or do I create another palette just for browns? Because I still want raw umber and Van Dyke brown, not to mention transparent brown oxide.
Take my hand. I got bottles, I got booze. Roll the dice, you'll never lose. Come on, baby, you should take my hand.
I'm happy to share this mixed-up experience. I'm pretty proud of myself for not including any cheesy mummy references, even if that's only because, for now at least, my funny bone material is all dried up. Until next time, stay artsy, my friends.